Why would a ghost call me now? The question hums in my mind as I stand on the chipped wooden steps of my childhood home, the porch light flickering like a dying star. At 42, I thought I'd buried this place. Its memories of betrayal, of never being enough. Yet here I am, summoned by my mother's voice, urgent and trembling through my phone. The house looms, its faded siding a testament to years of neglect, and my fingers hover over the doorbell, heavy with the weight of a past I've spent decades escaping. My car's engine ticks in the driveway, still warm from the 5-mile drive, and I wonder if I'm about to step into a trap or a reckoning. The air feels thick, pressing against my skin as I stare at the door. I haven't been here in years, not since my grandmother's funeral 3 years ago, where my parents and I exchanged awkward pleasantries before I fled back to my life. Before that, it was the day I was 18, standing on this same porch, tears burning my cheeks as they told me my college fund, my future, was gone. Not for bills, not for an emergency, but for Lisa's wedding. "Your sister needs a proper wedding," Mom had said, her voice flat, as if that explained it all. "You can take out loans," Dad added, his eyes avoiding mine. I begged not for the money, but for them to see me, to choose me. They didn't. I left with nothing but a duffel bag and my grandmother's promise to help me through community college. That betrayal carved a hollow in me, one I filled with hard work, long nights, and a refusal to look back. Now, my phone feels like a stone in my pocket, still warm from Mom's call an hour ago. "Sarah, it's urgent," she'd said, her voice strained, unfamiliar after years of silence. No calls for my birthday, not when Emily was born, not ever. I was washing dishes, the suds slipping through my fingers, when her name flashed on the screen. I should have ignored it, but some foolish part of me, maybe the girl who once believed in family, answered. "I'll be there soon," I said, my heart beat loud in my ears. Why, after all this time, do they need me? The question gnaws as I glance at my car where I left Emily, my 12-year-old, at Claire's house. "It's just for a couple of hours," I told her, forcing a smile despite her wide, curious eyes. "You never go to Grandma and Grandpa's," she said, too perceptive for her good. I ring the doorbell, the chime echoing like a warning. The door swings open, and Mom's eyes are red, her hands wringing a dish towel. "Sarah, you came," she says, her voice trembling as if she doubted I would. Dad stands behind her, his face unreadable, the air thick with tension. I step inside, the scent of stale coffee and vanilla air freshener hitting me like a memory. The furniture is worn, and the decorations bought for Lisa's wedding faded. "What's going on?" I ask, arms crossed, my voice sharper than I intend. They exchange glances, and Dad clears his throat. "We're gonna lose the house," he says, his words heavy. I wait, knowing there's more. "Your sister," Mom starts, and my stomach twists, the familiar resentment coiling tight. "She asked us to take out a loan for Tom's business," Dad explains. "We used the house as collateral." I exhale sharply. "Let me guess, the business failed?" They nod, eyes downcast. "They stopped making payments," Mom says, her voice breaking. "We can't cover it. We need help." Then, the part that makes my blood run cold. "We know you're doing well," Dad says too quickly. "Your apartment, your rental income, you're in a position to help." I laugh, a bitter, humorless sound that cuts through the room. They look at me like I've lost my mind, but it's them who've lost theirs, thinking I'd save them after they chose Lisa at every turn. "You're serious?" I ask, shaking my head. "After everything?" Mom's lip trembles. "We wouldn't ask if we weren't desperate." Desperate. Like I was at 18, begging for my future. I look at them, Mom's pleading eyes, Dad's averted gaze, and feel something shift. I should say no, walk away. But Emily's face, her innocent hope, flashes in my mind. "I'll think about it," I say, turning on my heel, the door closing behind me as I step back into the night, unsure if I'm making a mistake or a choice that will change everything. The decision sits like a stone in my chest, heavy but undeniable, as I pull into my parents' driveway again, this time with Emily bouncing in the passenger seat. A week ago, I stood here, torn between resentment and a flicker of hope, their plea for help echoing in my ears. Now, at 42, I'm back, not for them, but for my daughter, whose wide brown eyes lit up when I mentioned her grandparents. The house looks less foreboding in the daylight, its chipped paint softened by the morning sun, but I know better than to trust appearances. Still, as Emily clutches her sketchbook, her excitement a quiet force, I wonder if this could be a new beginning, or a deeper wound. I spent days wrestling with their request. I must be crazy, I told Rachel over coffee, the steam curling between us. Completely insane, she said, her bluntness a comfort. But Emily's voice kept breaking through, her quiet, "Can I meet them?" After I mentioned my visit, I'd never spoken ill of my parents to her, never spoken of them at all, letting her believe in the idea of family. She deserves a chance to know them, I told Rachel, stirring my coffee until it grew cold. And you? She asked, tilting her head. What do you get out of this? I had no answer, only a stubborn hope that maybe, just maybe, things could be different. So I called Mom, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. I'll help with the loan payments, I said, cutting her off before she could gush. But there needs to be boundaries. Her choked sob, "Thank you, Sarah, thank you," felt hollow, but it was done. Within 2 weeks, Emily and I moved in. My apartment was rented out for $2,000 a month to cover the $1,500 loan payments. The first night, I stood in my old bedroom, now Emily's, the walls still faintly marked by my teenage posters. She grinned, taping up her drawings, and for a moment, the house didn't feel like a battlefield. It felt like home. The days that followed were strangely warm. Mom, who'd never bothered with breakfast when I was a kid, started making pancakes, the kitchen filling with the scent of butter and syrup. Emily, her hair in a messy braid, would chatter about school, her spelling bee win, and Mom listened, her eyes soft in a way I didn't recognize. Dad, usually distant, took to teaching Emily chess on the worn dining table, their weekly matches a ritual they both anticipated. "Checkmate," Emily would crow, and he'd laugh, a sound I hadn't heard in years. I watched, cautious, waiting for the catch, but their affection for her seemed genuine. For the first time, I saw regret in their eyes, not just for the house, but for me, for the years they'd thrown away. Work kept me grounded. My part-time job at the law firm had always been steady, but now, with the house running smoothly, I took on more. One afternoon, my boss called me into his office, his desk cluttered with case files. "We've noticed your hard work, Sarah," he said. "How'd you feel about a promotion?" It meant $20,000 more a year, but also travel, 3-day trips to Seattle, maybe more. Before, I'd have said no, a single mom with no support missed calls, no support system. But now, with Mom and Dad here, I could manage. "I'll take it," I said, surprising myself, the words slipping out before I could overthink them. Emily would be fine, I told myself, picturing her laughing over chess with Dad. The first trip was nerve-wracking. I packed my suitcase muttering, 3 days isn't long, as I zipped it shut. Emily hugged me at the door, her arms tight. "I'll miss you, Mom," she said, and my heart ached. But Mom promised to send pictures, and I clung to that as I boarded the plane. True to her word, my phone pinged with photos. Emily doing homework at the kitchen table, baking cookies with Mom, her face smeared with flour. It worked. The house, once a place of pain, was becoming a home again, not just for Emily, but for me. I let myself breathe, let myself hope, the weight of the past lifting, if only slightly. Maybe I'd been wrong about them. Maybe family could mean something after all. The warmth of our new routine lingers like morning mist, but as I pull into the driveway after a 3-day Seattle trip, a chill settles in my bones. The house, once softened by Emily's laughter and Mom's pancakes, feels different. Its windows dark, the air heavy with something unspoken. At 42, I've learned to trust that instinct, the quiet warning that paradise is fragile. My suitcase bumps against the porch steps, and I brace myself, unsure if I'm walking into a home or a storm. The first sign is small, easy to dismiss. Mom's phone rings during dinner, and she hurries to her bedroom, the door clicking shut. She emerges minutes later, eyes red, brushing off my glance with a forced smile. "Just a friend," she says, but the lie hangs thick. I catch glimpses of bank notifications on her phone while setting up her new tablet. Small transfers, 200, 500, always to Lisa. My stomach twists, the old resentment stirring. I confront her one evening, the kitchen dim under a flickering bulb. "Mom, why are you sending Lisa money?" Her startled look fades to composure. She's struggling, Sarah. She has 2 kids. So do you, I snap, gesturing to the loan statements on the counter. I'm covering your $3,000 monthly bills. Her lips press thin. You wouldn't understand, she says, and I nearly laugh, the irony bitter. I've understood struggle my whole life, with no one to rescue me. Then Lisa arrives, unannounced, like a storm breaking over calm seas. I return from another trip, my eyes gritty from the 15-mile drive from the airport, to find her suitcases cluttering the hallway. Mom greets me nervously, her hands fluttering. Lisa left Tom, she blurts. She had nowhere else to go. My breath catches. You didn't think to ask me? Dad shifts uncomfortably in the living room, his silence deafening. She needs support, he mumbles. I laugh, sharp and bitter, the sound echoing off the faded wallpaper. Of course she does. Lisa settles in too quickly, sprawling on the couch, scrolling her phone while her kids, chaotic, unsupervised, tear through the house, scattering toys and crumbs. I'm still paying every bill, my $2,000 apartment income, an $85,000 salary stretched thin, while Lisa contributes nothing. I try reasoning with her one night, the TV's glow casting shadows across her face. So, what's your plan? I ask, keeping my voice even. For a job? A place to live? She blinks, then scoffs. Wow, Sarah, you just love acting superior, don't you? My jaw tightens. I'm covering this entire household, Lisa. The least you can do is contribute. Mom, hovering in the kitchen, jumps in. She just left her husband, Sarah. She needs time. How much time? I demand, but no one answers. Lisa's smirk says it all. She has no intention of leaving. The truth settles like dust. She's here to stay, and I'm the one footing the bill. The shift is subtle at first, but Emily feels it most. Mom, once eager with breakfast, is too busy helping Lisa's kids get ready, their backpacks strewn across the dining table. Dad, who cherished his chess matches with Emily, now has no time, yet he plays catch with Lisa's son in the backyard, their laughter drifting through the window. Emily notices, her brown eyes are dimming. One night, she knocks hesitantly on my door, her voice small. Mom, do Grandma and Grandpa still like me? My heart cracks. Of course, sweetheart, I say, pulling her close. Why would you think that? She shrugs, staring at the floor. They don't talk to me much anymore. They're always with Lily and Jake. I hug her tighter, swallowing the anger rising in my throat. You're the most important person in my life, Emily. That's what matters. But inside, I see the pattern repeating, Lisa's shadow creeping over us, just as it did when I was a child. I lie awake, the ceiling fans hum a restless rhythm, wondering how long this fragile piece can hold before it shatters. The house is a ticking clock, each day winding tighter, and I sense the explosion coming. I'm 42, too old to ignore the signs, yet I cling to the hope that Emily's happiness might outweigh the growing dread. Returning early from a Seattle trip, the 15-mile drive from the airport a blur, I plan to surprise Emily with ice cream after school. But as I step through the door, Lisa's voice slices through the air, venomous and sharp, and my world tilts. She's towering over Emily in the living room, her face twisted. You lazy, ungrateful brat, Lisa snaps. Clean this mess up right now. Emily, on her knees, scrambles to pick up toys, Lisa's kids' toys, her face flushed with shame. My bag hits the floor with a thud. What's going on here? I demand, my voice shaking. Lisa barely glances at me. Your princess refuses to help around the house. I stare at the scattered blocks, the crumbs on the rug. You mean your kids' mess? Lisa crosses her arms. They're napping. Someone has to pick up. Emily looks up, her eyes pleading, and something inside me snaps. No, I say, my voice low, trembling with fury. Not someone. You. They're your kids. Lisa's eyes flash. You're never here, Sarah. Someone has to keep this house running. I step closer, my hands shaking. I'm not here because I'm working, unlike some people who sit around expecting handouts. Lisa gasps, feigning shock. You, what? Don't enable you? Don't throw my daughter aside like Mom and Dad do? My voice rises unstoppable. Emily is 12. She's not your maid. If I ever hear you speak to her like that again, I swear. What? Lisa sneers. You'll kick me out? Go ahead. Tell Mom and Dad. See whose side they take. Her confidence hits like a blade. She knows they'll choose her, just like always. I turn to Emily, ignoring Lisa's smirk. Go upstairs, sweetheart. She hesitates, then slips past me, her footsteps soft on the stairs. Lisa storms to the kitchen, already spinning her tale to Mom, her voice high-pitched, trembling. She screamed at me, all because I asked Emily to help. I lean against the wall, eyes closed, the pattern clear. Minutes later, Mom's footsteps climb the stairs, her voice tight. Sarah, we need to talk. I turn, arms crossed. About how Lisa's treating Emily like a servant? Mom's lips are thin. You're overreacting. Lisa's overwhelmed with 2 young children. I laugh, the sound hollow. Overreacting? She humiliated my daughter, and you're defending her? Mom's gaze falters. Emily should help around the house, she says, as if that justifies it. The numbness spreads, history repeating itself. Lisa's wrongs excused, my pain dismissed. I should have known, but I wanted to believe they'd changed. They haven't. 4 days later, I'm in Seattle, 1,200 miles away, when my phone rings. Emily's picture flashes and I answer, heart racing. Mom, she whispers, her voice broken by sobs. I'm outside. The world tilts. What? Where? At Grandma and Grandpa's, she sniffs. Lisa, she kicked me out. My breath stops, my 12-year-old alone in the dark at 8 p.m. because Lisa decided she didn't belong. She said I was in the way, Emily murmurs. I only have my phone. I didn't know where to go. My hands shake as I dial Rachel, my voice cracking. Emily's outside my parents' house. Please, can you get her? I'm on my way, Rachel says, no hesitation. She's 3 miles away, a lifeline. I hang up, my vision blurring, and call Lisa. She answers on the 5th ring, annoyed. Oh, did the princess call you? My fists clench. Where is my daughter? Probably with your friend by now, she says, lazy, smug. Maybe she'll learn not to be so obstinate, always arguing, thinking she's better than everyone. My vision goes red. You listen to me, I say, my voice ablade. You're done. I'm done. You threw my daughter out, and Mom and Dad let you. I'm coming home, and I'm taking back everything that's mine. Lisa scoffs. Oh, please, Sarah, you're not serious. I hang up, booking a $300 flight home, my heart pounding with a clarity I've never felt. This is the end. I won't let them break Emily like they broke me. Not now, not ever. The plane's descent into the airport jolts me awake, my hands still clenched from the call with Lisa, her smug voice echoing in my skull. Emily's tearful whisper, Lisa kicked me out, burns in my chest, fueling a resolve as sharp as steel. At 42, I've let my parents and sister steal too much, my youth, my trust. But they won't take my daughter's light. The 15-mile drive to Rachel's house is a blur, my knuckles white on the wheel. I'm done hoping for change. This time, I'm taking back what's mine. I burst through Rachel's door, and Emily bolted from the couch, her cheeks streaked with dried tears. I pull her into my arms, her small frame trembling against me. I'm here, baby, I whisper, kissing her forehead. Rachel stands nearby, arms crossed, her expression grim. It's worse than you think, she says, her voice low. Over coffee, while Emily curls up with a blanket, Rachel spills the truth. Lisa's been treating Emily like a servant for weeks, making her wash Lily and Jake's laundry, cook their dinners. When Emily finally protested, Lisa snapped, banishing her to the street. Why didn't you tell me? I ask Emily, my voice breaking. She looks down, twisting the blanket's edge. You seemed happy, Mom. You were smiling more. My heart shatters. She bore this to protect me. I cup her face. Nothing is more important than you, I say, my words fierce. She nods, and I know what comes next. The next morning, I drove 5 miles to my parents' house, a moving crew trailing in a van. Lisa's car is gone, off on another aimless errand, no doubt. Mom answers the door, her eyes widening. Sarah, we weren't expecting you. I brush past, my voice cold. Take everything I bought, I tell the movers, pointing to the $200 fridge, the $800 couch, the TV. They start hauling, and Mom's voice rises, panicked. You can't do this. I hold up receipts, my proof of purchase. I can. Dad arrives midway, freezing in the doorway as the movers carry out the washing machine. Sarah, he starts, but I cut him off. Don't, I say, my tone icy. You watched Lisa throw my daughter out. You chose her again. His silence is answer enough. Mom tries, her voice shaking. The loan, the bills. I turn, meeting their eyes, steady and unyielding. You'll figure it out yourselves, like I did when you gave my college fund to Lisa. Like Emily did, alone on the street. I pause, letting the words sink in. Consider this my final payment for every time you put her first. I walk out, the mover's truck rumbling behind me, and drive back to our apartment, Emily quiet beside me. The two-bedroom space, once a temporary refuge, feels like a sanctuary now. I unpack, the familiar creak of the floorboards grounding me. That night, I sat at my laptop, redirecting the $7,500 I'd sent to my parents' loan to Emily's college fund, now at $10,000. I glance at her, sketching at the table, her face calm. We're home, sweetheart, I say, and she smiles, a small, real smile. The weight of their betrayal lingers, but it's lighter now, replaced by a certainty. Emily and I are enough. I've reclaimed our lives, and no one will take that from us again. The balcony's evening breeze carries the scent of pizza, our $15 dinner spread across a wobbly table, as Emily and I watch the sunset paint the sky orange. It's been weeks since I walked out of my parents' house, the mover's truck heavy with everything I'd paid for, and the silence feels like freedom. At 42, I've learned that family isn't blood. It's the girl beside me, her laughter brighter than the city lights below. We're building a future, and for the first time, I'm not looking back. Life in our apartment is simple, uncluttered. The tension of my parents' house, Lisa's sneers, Mom's deflections, has no place here. I throw myself into work, my $85,000 salary a steady anchor. The promotion fuels my drive, not out of desperation, but ambition. Emily flourishes, her grades soaring. She joins the chess club, her strategies sharper than ever. Anne takes art classes, her sketches filling our fridge. One weekend, I surprised her with a 200-mile road trip to the beach. We sing to her favorite playlists, stop at greasy diners, and stand on the shore, the cool water lapping 10 feet away. This is nice, she says softly, her smile wide. Just us. I pull her into a side hug, the waves a quiet promise of peace. Word trickles through distant cousins, the ones who always rooted for me quietly. My parents lost the house to foreclosure, moving to a 600-square-foot apartment, a shadow of their former pride. Lisa, true to form, latched onto a new boyfriend, packing her kids and leaving Mom and Dad behind. I don't gloat. Their choices aren't my burden anymore. The calls keep coming. Mom's pleas, Dad's accusations, Lisa's whining voicemails. I delete their contacts one night, my finger steady, but save the messages, not to listen, but to remember why I left. Guilt can't pull me back. Paying bills one evening, I check Emily's college fund, now growing steadily. Is that for college? She asks, peeking over my shoulder. I nod. For your future. She leans against me, her warmth a quiet strength. Thank you, Mom, she whispers. I kiss her head. The numbers on the screen avow. No one will take this from her. Mom, she says another morning, spatula in hand as we make pancakes. Are you happy now? I pause, the question settling deep. Yes, I say, meaning it. Finally I am. Her smile mirrors mine. Me too. And that's enough. Emily, this life, our chosen family. The past is a shadow, but we're standing in the light.